Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve, Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. We've dedicated this podcast to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose. Guess what that purpose is? Doing business, doing a servant's heart. Imagine how good you'd feel if you did that every day like I do. Trust me, and even with my guest today, I'm trying to help him, trying to serve him as much as I can. It's such a great feeling. So take that impact and make a difference in your world. We also dedicated that our guest, my guest, will motivate you, inspire you, and educate you. And when that happens, guess what? Now you've got more resources to serve others. Here's your call to action after you listen to the show. Figure out how you're going to serve yourself and serve others today and what impact that create today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till January 2025, the new year. Start right after my great guest speaks and tells us about podcasting, and then go out and serve. Trust me, it's the best feeling in the world. And today's episode is sponsored by Pantheon Alliance. Join a community of high-income entrepreneurs and business leaders to create a world-changing thought leader platform to grow your business. For more information on that, just reach out to me, and I'll get you all the information. Impact, difference maker, change maker, all that is part of that. What I talk about, my guest is doing that with podcasting. You all know I'm a podcast, love it. I've done over 600 shows. That means I kind of have to like it, but it's a powerful tool in so many ways. We'll get into that right now. I want to welcome Sergey. Sergey, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Steve, for inviting me. Thrilled to be here.
And you're in Kiev, Ukraine, and I just want to say this recording and now out to the world is, prayers for your country that things get better, and kind of tell me what's going on now, but a lot of prayers out there. But let's start. I mean, I know my journey through podcasting, but I don't know yours. Why did you jump into podcasting?
I think the best things in life happen unexpectedly. I'm a true believer that if you have your eyes wide open and you just stay, informed and willing to accept the reality, things happen the best possible way. And I've also always been super curious to connect with as many people as I possibly can. I have been given this gift of communication. I have been always a pretty good communicator, and I learned English language quite early in order to do specifically that, to connect with people all around the world. And when I came across this format, I just couldn't resist. It was meant to happen. So I started a podcast. I first started doing live streams on Instagram, and never thought that people would react in the way they reacted. It turns out that if you ask and if you invite people to just come over and talk about them, guess what? Sometimes they say yes. And this way we started talking to people on live streams on my Instagram. At that point in 2019, I already had an experience in business. So I did have a foundation, to have pretty interesting conversations with people from the business world. And it just transformed into more of like professional format of a podcast using more professional software later on. And here I here I am doing this podcast and thinking about what I want to do in life. So at that point, I was actually quite lost since I exited my business in 2019, sold my equity to my investors, and for almost year and a half, I was really lost, doing all kinds of crappy things. I mean, that was a great experience. I don't have
Yeah.
regrets, but if I look back, my body would have said thank you if I didn't put so many shit into it.
Yeah. No,
And
it's true.
yeah, so I wanted to just have fun for some time, so partied hard for year and a half, but then was facing some kind of a midlife crisis, not knowing what to do. And that's when podcast world really came in handy and almost salvaged my life.
So you mentioned connect, and I love that. I always tell people when I keynote speak, your network's your net worth. Talk about how podcasting help grow your network.
Oh, wow. In just most incredible way. I think the key skill podcasters have is asking great questions. And when you ask great questions, meaningful questions, the questions that you actually have done some homework to ask, right? It really shows your intellectual capacity. It shows your empathy, and show a lot about you can be said from the questions that you ask, right?
Yeah.
And I was able to, through my network, just to approach people and reach people who I would have otherwise not be able to reach. So I was able to so there are some people, and I think you might be a person like that. There are people who are great connectors. They are in fond of connecting people that they know for certain would create an amazing team together, or just maybe collaborate or whatever. So I was lucky enough to have a few people like that in my life, and through them I was able to connect with others, and then just snowballed from that point. So right now, I think with all the guests on my show, I do have a pretty good friendly relationships that go far beyond just talking on a podcast. And guess what, with a few of them we already started working. So that was a blessing in disguise.
That's so well said. I should have recorded that. Well, I did record. I'm going to take that piece because that's what networking is all about. Connecting is grow for everybody, not just you, not just for them. Everybody grows in some way capacity. Talk about your podcast. You've mentioned a few times. What's the name and what's the mission?
It's called Be Yourself. If you guys watch on YouTube, you can see I even have a t-shirt with this title. I think that for me, one of the biggest challenges in life was to find myself. So the initial idea was to call it Finding Yourself, right? But because sometimes when you find yourself, there's so many outside challenges and pressure that want you to um, question if your choice is rightful. I think I decided to go with be yourself, in a way, sticking to who you are, to your authentic self. I figured that that's even more important than finding yourself. So you found yourself, but then have the courage to, you know, regardless of the outside pressure and people who say that you're not going to make it, or why you're wasting time or whatever, you still persevere, and you're still, doing what you love doing. So for me, I invite folks who already have who also have interesting stories in how they discovered their true passion, right? But then I want them to tell me what were the challenges when they were faced, with adversity, and maybe had this easy way out of dropping, and not continuing with their journey, and and why they decided to persevere and follow their passion to the very end. So I think this show. My show is, sorry for such a windy answer, but the show is a combination of how do you find your true passion and how do you actually stick with it. Yeah.
Passion is important. If you don't have
Yeah.
that or don't know what it is, because everybody has it, but we don't sometimes, well, a lot of the time people don't know what it is. So with that, you're talking about stories that your podcast talk about. How important is listening?
Super important, super important. And I think I'm still not a great listener. It's a work in progress. I feel that, oftentimes as a podcast host, you want to interrupt, and just like with meditation, I really love this idea by Simon Sinek that although the conventional, you know, um, wisdom says that meditation is all about keeping control of your own thoughts, right? Like if some new thought arrive, you say, "I'll deal with it later."
Mhm.
But he actually gave it a little different spin. He said that how about when you're in conversation with someone, meditation help, or this state of mind that you're in, it helps you to be fully focused on what the person is saying. And just like when you have the new idea trying to occupy your mind when you're meditating and you say, "I'll deal with it later," in the same breath, when you want to interrupt someone or say something, you just say, "No, I'm going to deal with it later because I'm going to focus 100% on what the person is saying. And I'm going to keep listening to them till the very, very end of their sentence," right? And even more so, hold space and maybe not instantly jumping in and giving them whatever you think, right, of their problem or of their statement. So I think true listening is what creates real connection between people. If you can be there for people and create this atmosphere where you're not laying judgments, you're not offering advice or whatever, you just be there, you're just holding space there, you become practically a friend. So for me, listening is tied closely to um, friendship. I believe
Yeah,
best friends can listen.
yeah, absolutely. And it's well said. And that probably falls on both sides, the host and the guest. Guests should be good listeners too, right?
Guests should be good listener as well. Totally.
Let's jump into your business. You're a podcast production company. You help people with their podcast. Take us through the journey if somebody becomes a client of yours.
I think my third episode of Be Yourself podcast, and the lady on Instagram sends me a message out of the blue, like, "Hey Sergey, I really loved your video product, your video podcast. So you're offering this as a service?" And I'm like, "No, haven't ever crossed my mind, but now I'm thinking about it."
Yeah.
So the world asked me, the world expressed the interest. It was actually the first time in my life when I picked the idea for a business, as a result of the outside world actually just giving me a hint. Because before that, I just, like, it was a result of market research, whatever it could be. But now I really saw that someone liked our video, and I can try doing offering this as a service, which I did. So I started working, you know, offered this to a few people in Ukraine. If quickly realized that I want to work with customers from the US and from Canada, just because I share this incredible love for the English language. So I figured, why don't I work with people who speak the language that I truly admire? There's just something about me in English. I don't know what it is, Steve, but I really adore English and the way you guys speak, specifically in the US. So and yeah, and I found my first customer who was also a guest of my show, not even the show, but the live stream on Instagram. I think I was waiting for him for 6 months, and then he decided to take a flyer with us. We just knocked it out of the park for them. We just did such an incredible job, and from that point forward, they became our main customers, our partners. They would
Yeah.
introduce us to they're called Chad and Cheese Podcasts. It's one of the biggest HR podcasts in the US. So it's not like some rookie, podcast. It's already an established name. There's 7 years in the business, and I mean that was for me the start of the entire thing. And since then we were able to kind of capitalize on the network that we got access to through these fellas, through Chad and Cheese. So this is stepping on the toes of the network effect.
Yep.
I think I can conclude by saying that even if you find one customer, you can already have a business as long as there is a network associated with this customer. You can just follow along and reach out to their friends and just capitalize on that.
I love it. We're coming to the end here, and that's such a great way to build a business. When the market comes to you and says, "We need help. We have a pain point. You can help our pain point." And that's, audience, that happens. Jump on it. Whether you're passionate or not, you're helping people. That should be part of your passion. So let's end with a really fun question. I like the improv. You know what improv is? Kind of play a little bit. Okay, good. And your English, by the way, is very, very good. Almost as good as mine. Probably better. I'm pretty impressed. So you have a restaurant. I've reserved a table at a restaurant for you for four. Of course, you're sitting in one of the chairs. In the other three chairs, who would you invite, dead or alive? Why would they be invited? And what food would you order?
Okay, dead or alive. I have 3 seats. So I would probably go with Michael Jordan, because for me, he is one of the biggest role models. And I think the dedication to the process, to hard work for him is unparalleled. And I just would want to pick his brain as far as focusing on one thing only and being present. Some people say that the biggest gift and the biggest power that Michael had was not the highest jump or most beautiful layup, but the ability to stay present in the moment. He was always present, and I would want to pick his brain on how do you stay present, how do you stay, and how do you keep your eyes on the goal. So him, I think I would invite Tony Robbins, because Tony, for me, I think he's changed so many lives. He's touched the hearts of so many people, and I would want to. He's a great giver. I think he's with his program where he's feeding families every single year, and which is brought from his early experience and early trauma when he had nothing to eat, and someone knocked on his door on Thanksgiving and offered some food. So this is the story that compels me so much. It's like, and I think I would want to talk to Tony about how to become a better giver, and probably some figure from history, like Gandhi, just Gandhi, and just humanitarian, and just his approach to staying still and always be on top of his game mentally. So that would probably be my table, and I would order some tea, because I would not want to eat. I would want just to listen and sip some tea, my man.
That's the first time I've heard that, and that's actually a really good one. You'd rather focus on the guest than worry about it. You can always eat later. That's actually a great answer. I love that. I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind. Sergey, you're a blessing. Your passion, enthusiasm for podcasting and networking, connecting, and helping people is evident even though you're in Ukraine, you're doing that in the United States. I'm sure in other countries, not now, you will in the future. So you have a big heart. I support you 100%. People listening want to connect and support you. How can they reach out to you?
So we have a website, beverlyin.com. So it's like beverlyin.com. And also they can find me on YouTube, typing Be Yourself Pod, Be Yourself Podcast, but shortened Be Yourself Pod. And I'm on LinkedIn. If you want to type Beverly Production, I will pop up.
Beautiful. Easy ways to connect. Thank you again, Sergey. This has been an incredible show. Audience, here's your call to action at the end. Yeah, I give you a lot of homework, but it's good homework. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, but not for what you think. I want you to take this. If you're listening to Sergey and you've got a friend in Christmas time, we're 4 days away from Christmas, 12, 21, 24 right now for you listening a year or two later. We're exchanging gifts. Podcast to me is a gift. And as you're listening, like I said earlier, and a friend talks about podcasting during Christmas at a party you're at or whatever, and they're like struggling or interested, take this link and share it with them. Go ahead. Just listen to Sergey on this podcast. Unbelievable. You gotta, and guess what? That gift leads to reaching out to Sergey, and maybe they hire Sergey to help produce their podcast. But it's the gift you started with. Taking that action, going, this, and it may not be a fit, Sergey and me, or that's okay. That happens. But the gift is still given. If I get a Christmas sweater, it's a Christmas sweater. Will I wear it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't wear them. I still am happy I got the gift. Keep in mind, that's what a gift is, truly in my mind. Hopefully others as well. And if you got a comment for the YouTube channel, pop it in the YouTube channel. The show will be out today or Monday. So you could do that. Or if it's a comment for Sergey, I will make sure he gets that. Do me a favor, reach out to him if you have a podcast or looking to do one, because I mentor podcast hosts and some of them are going to meet Sergey to help them grow their podcast. With that being said, me and Sergey, I want to thank you all so much for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.